Just welcome you to the session 3 of our conference. The people here actually get a special bonus presentation with Katy and I, and it's very important, and the fundamental of sustainability. So I first met Katy in 2020, I reckon, at the first Evoke Ag. Or actually, I think they said it was the second, but it was at the exhibition buildings, and I met Katy, and she talked about her safe ag systems, and we've talked for the last 3.5 years, 4 years now, about what's happening with digital transformation with farmers and safety. And what really resonated with me is that when I first started out my working career in 1988 with Rio Tinto, they brought in the 60 new graduates, and I was one of them. And they said, we've got two big challenges in the next 50 years. We've got sustainability and we've got safety. And they said, this is amongst the smoke haze. You can say this is Rio Tinto back in the 1988. In the smoke haze of everyone smoking in a meeting like this, it was decided with the graduates that they would push safety ahead of sustainability. And really sustainability was just going to be energy efficiency. And over the last now 40 years, I've seen the massive change going on in safety within the mining industry. We were probably killing, I would guess, 2,500 people a year in the mining industry back in 1988. And the records now, they've got that down to 9 people a year, which is still 9 too many, and they injure a lot. And the really sad thing in that transformation is on the safety side. Unfortunately, we kill 1 person a week in the farming community, and we've got a smaller workforce than the mining workforce here in Australia. So we've got a long way to go. And what Katy and I are going to talk about for a little while is what Safe Ag Systems is doing to improve that safety equation, and as importantly, what they're doing on the back of that safety network. So just might throw to Katy to talk briefly about the start of Safe Ag Systems, then ask her a few questions.
Thanks so much, Paul. So the journey of Safe Ag Systems, we actually are a spin out of another company born and bred in South Australia, a training provider, direct to agriculture. So we train the workforce at everything from tickets and licensing right up to an agribusiness diploma. We saw that there was a real need to educate agriculture on safety. The legislation changed back in 2016, and we had a student base of more than 3,000 sort of throwing their hands in the air trying to work out how to navigate it going forward. A lot like sustainability now coming in. So the big stick does work in agriculture. They did start looking for solutions to meet the compliance regulation, to help their workers on their day-to-day journey to keep themselves safe. And we pulled a product together. It's a software as a service, so both desktop and mobile application to meet their compliance regulations. Now, in doing that, we worked out that there was a massive gap in the operational side of agribusiness. Technology adoption is a big topic in agriculture. There's no doubt that they know how to drive a very technical header or tractor, but to adopt technology to improve their business operations has been a hard slog. So that's where we started, and now it's growing rapidly.
Okay, we've got the critical mass in the room now, so we appreciate that a lot. So what we really like about the Safe Ag Systems, and we've been across and met Katy and her team, and we're getting to know, I suppose, the expansion that is possible from what Katy and her team have put together. So just a really quick snapshot. We've got around about 160,000 workers out there in the farming community. You add in the farm managers and things, you might get it up to about 180,000. And of those, Katy services around 8,000 of those on a regular basis. Maybe I'll give her the numbers, because the numbers grey down as to the useful people that sign on each day. But what I'd like to ask Katy is to expand upon how she can leverage with her team of 18 what she has already got, where she's got 4% of the workforce logging onto her system regularly.
So I mentioned before, adoption of digital tools on the day-to-day workings of a farm has been quite a slow uptake. So we approached the agricultural industry with a tool that can help them meet compliance from a business perspective. That's a hard slog, especially when you need the records from the workforce. So refining our product over the last 5 years to make it very user-friendly for the worker on the ground. We're talking about a low literacy group, especially when it comes to computers. We're talking about people that have been traditionally communicate verbally and never like writing things down and getting those records back up to housekeeping. So we had to very much approach it to give them value every day and give them something very simple to use. Uptake has been fantastic. We're seeing a real change in their adoption, and that record keeping, when it moves up into the business side of things, is now leveraging that business to be able to get those certifications quite quickly. And it started in safety, but now we're going across animal welfare, export forms and compliance obligations. We are getting some really great data along machinery maintenance use, insurance documents to be able to get their premiums at a reduction. Really great uptake.
And just, the final area that we'd touch on is we talked about insurance before, and if I go back to where I started my career there in the mining game, the smoking that was happening right through the mining industry in every office, every meeting room, just stopped overnight when the insurers came along and said, your offices are uninsurable if you have people smoking in the room. So the next day there was just no smoking. Now, what Katy's doing with her system, with safety and compliance, is almost sort of mirroring this change that's going to happen, we think, in the whole compliance, safety, sustainability area. And Katy might be able to explain it a lot better than I.
Change is easy when there's obviously a cost associated with it. So insurance premiums are going up. The Australian agri workforce attracts one of the highest percentages of work cover premiums, and it's continuing to increase. So large insurers are looking at tools that they can equip their clients with to mitigate that risk and be proactive and demonstrate that they're working towards a safer workplace. The whole idea of education first, which is what we've sort of spun out of in our founding company, has helped because the workforce obviously needs that education piece. Insurance in other realms is able to be monitored. Like you've got devices now that understand how often you use your car or how often or how far you're driving. But when it comes to agriculture, it's so hard to quote a farmer on how much their premiums should be. So the more tools, the more data that we have out there, the better off the farmers are going to be, so they can be insurable and not.
Perfect. All right, I think you've missed a little bit at the start, guys and girls, but that's okay because Katy's going to be in this industry and she'll be a rock star in a couple of years' time, in my view. And we're very happy to be on the start of that journey with her with the AgFood Fund. And these are the sorts of groups we want to find and promote. And, the quick anecdote is, you and I and others around here have been going to conferences for 30, 40 years, and it's terrible getting back to the same conference 12 months later and talking about the same thing and nothing's been done. Sustainability with Larissa and what Natasha and others are doing, sustainability is getting done, safety will get done, and our small private equity group, as part of PAC Partners with great support from others here in the room, has enabled us to put a small amount of money in these really strong platforms and grow around those platforms. Another one speaking later with Digital Agriculture Services, DAS, is speaking later today. And we've got, I think Tim's going to make the introduction, but one of our larger investments is in Yamba, where we see them being the absolute leader in aquaculture going forward. So thank you very much, Katy, for coming on the journey with us. And I look forward to speaking in the next couple of years when, as you know, Katy will be commanding and leading this sort of conference. Talk soon.